And yeah, I'm eager to see what sort of guidance we will be receiving this week. It has been quite the challenge to balance mm, staying abreast of the changes at the federal level and making sure that we are staying agile to support folks who are going to need us as these changes roll out. Um, Not being baited with every tweet or whatnot, and also being thoughtful in how we build community and systems to care for one another during this great period of upheaval. We are bringing together the folks who are imagining, what we build out of this rubble, um, and being very conscious of, cultivating our lane, which is community and healing and care and innovation to a certain extent, helping folks understand that, every interaction, while it feels really easy to slip into kind of zero sum competitive mindset when you feel like everything is under attack, we need to be really thoughtful when we choose how to apply our power. There are positive sum mechanisms for applying our power and zero sum mechanisms for applying our power. And until we've kind of, exhausted the positive sum angles, only then should we be resorting to zero sum. It's my own kind of philosophy, but the math and probability statistics sort of bears it out as far as long-term gains. In some ways, I think that is kind of what Dr. King was talking about the long arc of history bending towards justice when we continue to cultivate. There's speaking of statistics, something going around, and the source escapes me, but it's about 3% of a population engaging in nonviolent protests. I think they saw this with the Arab Spring or maybe some other um, sociopolitical uprisings. That only takes 3% of a population to begin to engage in nonviolent action and protest for change to happen. So it's a bit of social network theory as well. I think some diffusion theory. I geek out on that stuff. I think I go hard geek when I'm stressed out. That's what that's all about. Anyhow, all that to say, we are, remaining in community, cultivating community, trying to stay well, and also feeling the effects of those efforts, both, my own health journey is a journey. um, Struggling with some autoimmune stuff that's only exacerbated by stress, as many of them are. I think that's a whole other topic about how we manage chronic illness in this country. That could just be the fact that we have gotten overstimulated for how fast our brains can evolve. Yeah. And some of us just, um, symptoms show up that seem strange and peculiar and, not attributable to any kind of physical malady. There's not necessarily an injury or something to cause the over activity of the immune system. But I think it's just like the body's in, right? Like the trauma response, the fight or flight response, whatever. Like we just so infrequently balance it out with the rest and digest, the the parasympathetic system. Anyhow, all that to say, it's another week. I'm a little behind because I had a doctor's appointment to manage those chronic conditions. We Our last card pull, we got two, so I actually kind of took that as an invitation to skip last week and let these two sort of guide us, the visionary and the honorable warrior. Um, I'm curious how these showed up for you, if at all. Um, Were you seeing possibilities in the mess and the destruction that some folks are trying to uh, uh, paint our world with? And were you able to take a stand for positive change in uh, that vision, stand for that vision? Curious. I feel like there are definitely some important guiding strategies for us. We were able to enroll a bunch of public employees. Thank you, public employees, for your badass work on the front lines of policy implementation. We appreciate you. You are not the parasitic class, as some bozos are saying. Anyhow, we were able to enroll a bunch of public employees in our upcoming cohort of the Facilitators Academy, where we gather in community and train and coach folks in holding these spaces of care and equity rooted decision making. We're pretty happy about that. We're going to be in Joshua Tree next week, one of our nation's beautiful national parks. Imagine us taking some care to the national parks employees who are feeling the weight of all of these um, inelegant and clumsy cuts at the federal level. So we'll be there in community, caring for our folks and kind of refilling our tanks for the rest of the year and the work to be done. And so, yeah, I think we are remaining steadfast in our vision of a positive sum future. This is the last gasps of the zero summers, really. That's what I continue to feel is real. Um, and it's messy, and we need to remain, clear in our own vision and not let that mess distract us. So let's see what the ancestors have to say about that for this week. This week we are the Muse. All right, we inspire, we are inspired. So inspire folks with this message of our positive sum future, even though it's looking bleak. Remind folks that this is kind of how paradigms shift. Yeah. And the two paradigms become kind of seemingly locked in this friction and conflict as the new one kind of takes over and ultimately takes the place of the old and dying paradigm. Folks who can't seem to open their perception to what is new and better suited to a new reality find this shift point awfully scary and will act out in very ugly ways to maintain their relevance. And, we can protect ourselves and our communities in the face of all of that. And we can still care for people where there is, a glimmer of hope that we might be able to inspire them to understanding how, they can care for each other and themselves and not lose out, right? Nobody has to lose in a world that has this much abundance, really. It's bananas. So let's get out there and do the things, inspire folks with these messages and be inspired. A little fairy. Is this a message in itself? A little fairy blowing some fairy dust on an elephant? I don't know. Take from it what you will. Have a wonderful week, y'all. See you next time. Oh, next time I'll be streaming from Joshua Tree. So be sure to join us. We'll see ya. Bye.